The Bills had a multitude of trades today, and if you can tell, Sammy Watkins was traded away to the Rams, and they acquired Jordan Matthews, but obviously not from the Rams. That was a separate trade. So once they traded away Sammy Watkins, they obviously thought to themselves that, well, we need another wide receiver, so they traded for Jordan Matthews on a separate trade. So ideally, how this trade goes down: Sammy Watkins goes to the Rams. Also, the Bills also sent a 6th-round pick to get a 2nd-round pick, and they're both in the same year of 2018. While they also receive, I believe, E.J. Gaines, another guy who's a cornerback right there. And what they also do is, since they lost corner there, and corner is a very sketchy part, they trade away Ronald Darby away, and that's how they acquired Jordan Matthews. And the Bills also get a 3rd-round pick for Ronald Darby. So I guess because the Eagles' cornerbacks, let's just say right now, they're garbage. Their weakest link is easily the cornerbacks right there, and that's definitely something they need to upgrade. And with the addition of Alshon Jeffrey, and they had some cutesy little targets down in Philadelphia, and that was something that they had to do, and so they got rid of Jordan Matthews. But ideally, receivers still a little sketchy, even though they have Alshon Jeffrey, who I think is a good wide receiver, not a great one, so it's going to be weird kind of forcing them the ball. And this is especially important for the Philadelphia Eagles, because one thing for sure, Cowboys just lost Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games, so hey, you got to capitalize on these wins. And the significant part about Jordan Matthews is I thought he was pretty good. He doesn't really catch the ball very well, but he is related to Jerry Rice. I believe Jerry Rice is his uncle, so that's why the significant part about him. And ideally, I think he was a 2nd-round pick in 2014, so obviously they parted ways with Jordan Matthews, but he's a Buffalo Bill, and it looks like there's kind of a changing style of offense. I felt when they were under Rex Ryan, they had a more West Coast kind of style offense. Now they're kind of going more vertical. They want more deeper passes. And ideally, Watkins can't do that deep threat kind of thing. But obviously, Watkins, who was considered to be the best player in the 2014 draft, and it ended up being Odell Beckham Jr. and Mike Evans and Kelvin Benjamin both had better careers than Sammy Watkins so far. So Sammy Watkins is a kind of an all-around receiver, but they were desperate for receiving help for the Rams. But ideally, the winner of this trade is the Bills. But obviously, because the Bills, not only when it happens to trades, is trades usually you usually have to give to get. There's some trades that are just completely unfair in the NFL. My biggest one was, on top of my head, is Anquan Boldin to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick during the 2013 offseason. When Anquan Boldin was easily a 1,200-yard receiver, you're going to trade him for a 6th-round pick? Come on, man. But when I look at this trade, you usually have to give to get. And ideally, they didn't do this by having they just get, but they didn't give anything. So ideally, you feel as if they should have ripped them off, but ideally they did 2 separate trades to kind of cover some ground. Because here's like a real trade right here, a real football trade. In 2015, during that offseason, Jimmy Graham was shipped over from the Saints to the Seahawks for a 1st-round pick and Max Unger as a center. And ideally, the offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks isn't very good, but ideally they got a better receiver right there to throw to in the red zone, and that was kind of the purpose right there. So when you look at that, that's kind of things that really make sense right there. So when you look at a Sammy Watkins and all of that and this kind of trade, the Bills trade away Watkins to get a cornerback, and then they traded away one of their old cornerbacks to get another receiver, so ideally they didn't lose anything. Versus the Rams, they kind of lost something. They lost some cornerback depth there. I feel as if with Tremaine Johnson, they had Janoris Jenkins, Tremaine Johnson was a great core. That's the last time they actually had a very good defense. But ever since they lost Janoris Jenkins and they have Tremaine Johnson playing under the tag, which is a concern that they got some cornerback depth right there, but then they shipped it out and traded it away. So the cornerback's an iffy spot for the St. Louis, or the Los Angeles Rams, which is a big concern because if you look at the Los Angeles Rams, you got an offensive-minded coach, a defense that really just has a front 4, and you have a 1 cornerback to rely on, and now you have an offensive coordinator who's now your head coach, who's only 29 years old. It's a little bit concerning, but hey, they got Wade Phillips, so Wade Phillips, let's see what he does with Make Magic. But overall, very impressed by the Bills trade. The Bills are technically changing. Sean McDermott looks like he has something going down right here. Obviously, they play in the AFC East, so there's not really much chance right there. But hey, Dolphins made the playoffs last year. Maybe the Bills can make the playoffs, make a little bit of a run right there. They and end their longest streak in the NFL. Believe it or not, they actually have a longest streak from missing the playoffs, longer than the Browns. Believe it or not, but hey, the Bills are the Bills. Haven't made the playoffs in the 21st century. They're going to be looking for that. They just signed Anquan Bolden, so they are serious. And Anquan Bolden will be a good mentor for Jordan Matthews and whatnot. So they're kind of changing the style of offense, and this is what's kind of go with the vertical and all of that. And it's just quite interesting just to look at. But the Bills, ideally, very, very quiet team right there. They might be what the Miami Dolphins were last year in 2016. That they could be the new Miami Dolphins in 2017. And it's very fitting because they're both in the AFC East. But overall, guys, that's what I have for the trade. What do you think of this trade below? Will this really affect them, whether they'll go to the playoffs? All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.